I think here's the question to ask when you're doing content. Does it pass the rented Lamborghini test? Okay. So there is renting a Lamborghini to get your picture in front of it, like with your arms crossed and the doors open and being like, I've made it, even though it's a rented car, versus taking a picture of a Lamborghini, meaning like, hey, this is a cool car. I'm inspired by it. And so when you're creating AI content, are you really just renting a Lamborghini and taking a picture in front of it and trying to pass it off as your own? Or are you creating something that is authentically you? Welcome back, everyone, to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. If you are new tuning into us, we want to say welcome. My name is Matt Bonelli. His name is Garrett Fry. And we're in November. I want to highlight we have, by the time this podcast released, we've wrapped up our business planning workshop, but that's just the live portion. We've recorded everything. So if you're looking to build a business plan for 2026, one that actually supports the life you want to live instead of dedicating your life to running this business plan that you created that's only based on income, come check us out. Go to tenths.co. There is a banner at the top you can click, or 10tenths.co/GPS. We walk you through an entire process through 4 detailed sessions on how to create a life vision that is then supported by your business with great business goals that are broken down into actionable steps so that you're actually excited about doing your plan. So that's my pitch for that, Garrett. Wanted to get that in there because I know a lot of people are thinking about it. What do you got to add in?
Just to add to the recorded side, which I think there's a lot of people that go like, oh, darn it, I missed it, and I'm not able to go back and do that. The cool part about the recorded side is you get to go do this on your own pace.
Yes.
So if you want to go up into the mountains and listen to the recordings and do one recording in the morning and work on it and do another recording later in the day and work on that, like, you can go at your own pace. You're going to get everything that's there. You're going to see all the communication, all the stuff that's happening. So it's actually kind of a unique, different way of going through it, where I'll be curious at the end of this year to see, to kind of poll people on what worked best for them, what they got most value out of, and how they were able to go through it. There's a beauty in the live side because you can ask questions and you can do the 11 circle with us. When you go through it live, when you go through it, the recorded though, it's a little bit of a different beast that I think is going to be pretty powerful for people.
Have this awesome visualization of being like in an A-frame, a small A-frame building with like the wood stove, and you get to get out into the wilderness in the morning, clear your head, and then do business planning. That sounds lovely to me.
Ted Bash, who we've interviewed before, that used for a while there, that was his thing. He would park himself in a cabin up in the snow. He would start a little fire and he was like, I'm in my cabin and I'm here and I'm business planning. And I always had a vision in my head that was probably 10 times over the top of what he was actually in. I'm not saying Ted would ever do something like, he would never just do crap. Ted enjoys really nice things, but I have this like AI picture built into my head of the cabin, and which might lead us nicely into our conversation for today.
Yeah. Well, since you brought up AI, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence today. And we do want to start by saying that we use AI tools every single day. Right. I actually even have in my marketing business, Garrett, I got AI tools that run without me doing anything because I've set them up to do their thing, which is really, really great. However, there's so much conversation and chatter about AI right now and how people are using it. And there's a lot of shoulds that are going on, which I don't particularly like, people being forced into saying, hey, you must use this, because I don't think that's true. And then on the other side, I think there is a laziness that is developing with how people are using AI, thinking that it's going to solve everything. And we're in danger on both of those things, Garrett, in removing the human element of our businesses, which is not going to destroy the industry. It's going to destroy your business, because the industry and the consumers are always going to demand and request the human element in this, Garrett.
Yeah, and I think it's when you're running, we help most people build a referral relationship business. And I think this is where one of those things you have to be very, very, very cautious around is the minute that you remove your personality and your energy out of it, it's very confusing for the people that are in your database. There are the right ways to use AI. Believe me. And as Matt has said, we use it all the time. I support it. I love it. I have seen the most amazing things created, put together. We have done stuff in our business, Matt, that like you can overthink and overthink and overthink. And you're like, well, wait, hold on a second. Let's just go get this perspective on it over here. But we've both been burned. I have been burned on it where it's just kind of like I've been called out on like that was AI, wasn't it? And you're like, darn it. Yeah, it was. Where I've seen it in a downfall type of play, Matt, is that we start to rely on it going, I can get stuff done quickly. And instead of taking that little time to put like your extra pieces into it, your touches, rewriting it or making it your own, we will, like I was responding to a post the other day and I ran it through AI because I was like, I need to say this. I have a limited amount of time. I wanted to respond back to this person. And I spoke my words into AI and I said, hey, use my tonality, use my words, don't embellish, don't change anything up. And it gave me this kind of blah response. It was my words, but it was like very like bleh. And so I was like, that's not it. So I tried, then you try to adjust it and then it takes it down a whole nother path. And you got to be careful because if you leave that in your AI searches and what was been done, like it hangs on to that, like, oh, this is part of his personality. So I had to delete that then, go in and start again, brand new one. And by the time I got done with it, I was like, it's close, it's pretty good. And I posted it and you very quickly were like, okay, here's all the things that like didn't carry over. What carried over to our online or to our mobile device didn't carry it over differently to our actual, desktop version or main version. Like it didn't transfer everything correctly and it didn't show up right. And even you were like, that's not really a sentence Garrett would say.
It was a great response. It was like the content was great. It was the structure
Right.
that just caught me by surprise.
But when you're building something, we were like, I was relying on it to get the job done quickly. And I know there's so many people out there that are having it write their emails or speaking into going, okay, good is better than it not being done at all. Like, so I'm just going to go with okay here and get that thing out. Where it's like, there's certain things, Matt, and you've said this, there's certain things we need to own. We need to have more of a part of us going into, because the more we give it out to other things. Now I go back to, that's where you start to get replaceable, is when you start going, I can just have this done for me. So I'm just going to have that done and I'll move along. That's the scary side.
If you're looking for the quick completion, then anybody can do that. Right. And I think, I just want to highlight this nuance of when you are then just taking and copy and pasting. What was interesting is like, I didn't notice this until I went and looked on the desktop, but on the mobile version, like the formatting just didn't show up. So like spaces got removed and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's not a AI thing. That's a copy paste thing. So just a kind of a side note, whenever you're copying and pasting, even if you're typing something out on like your Apple Notes or some other notes app and then into something, maybe just delete and re-enter the spaces so that your formatting is there, because sometimes there's some nuance that can
So it's funny. So, and I know we're getting into the weeds for our listeners here, but like when I put that into our desktop version, which is where I loaded it into, I adjusted all the spacing. I moved everything around. So I was like, oh, this looks really good on here. And then you showed me what it looked like on I was like, whoa, like, okay, there are things here that aren't working correctly. And I will add, Matt, like when we talk about taking shortcuts, I remember about a year ago when AI was really kind of being like, the kind of the hot topic bouncing around. It's even more so the hot topic. And it just came on the scene though. I had someone that took their HOA docs that they were going to share with their clients, and they're like, this is so cool. It's this huge HOA doc. I just uploaded into AI and I said, hey, give me the bullet points, all the things that we should be paying attention to in here. And I get it. If you give it to your clients and say, here's the full document, I suggest you read it. Here's the bullet points. But even at that, I have watched it do bullet points and all of a sudden add in a whole bunch of other stuff that's like, where did you get that? And again, it starts to kind of run with what it thinks you might want. And if you don't go check it and then read everything that this thing did and go through and analyze it, you could be giving your clients some really faulty information.
Yeah, and I think that's where you have to complete the loop whenever you're using it to run a process. Unless it is, and I think there's kind of two sides of AI. Well, maybe there's more. I'm going to lump into three categories, Garrett. maybe you agree with this. You have the category of, I'll call it exploration, thought processing, brainstorming, right? And that's where you and I use AI a lot, right? And brainstorming these ideas. I like having conversations. It's just having a conversation with myself with a system prompt giving me kind of things back to help me think through my own thought process. Then there is a content creation side, which goes anywhere from how you respond to an email to creating a new avatar for an Instagram thing. And then there's automation, right? And the automation side is a lot less complicated than people think because it's just trigger and responses. It's kind of like computer programming, but now with the AI tools, anybody can do it. It's this content creation silo that where I see people get, they don't close the loop like the HOA docs. I would consider that a content creation. You're asking it to now summarize something into bullet points and you're just like, cool, this looks good. You got to close the loop by going back and saying, hey, is this right? It's just like when you're negotiating a contract with somebody on the other side, you don't just take it and look at the price and say, here's the offer. You got to go look at the other pages too, because they may have written something in there. I've seen agents get burned with that. That can happen when you don't close the loop on the content creation of AI as well. And so you just got to come back and pay attention to those things.
In that, again, this personal side, this like our identity of who we are and what we're about, what people are attracted to. This is the part that I'm starting to watch and going, okay, we need to be very careful because as we're having it do content creation for us, is it cool? Yeah, it's cool what you created. It's fascinating how it put it all together. And then we go, wow, this is so neat. And we throw it out there going, people are going to be fascinated by this. And very quickly, I'm watching myself with certain organizations, certain people that I surround myself with going like, that's too bad. Like, I can tell that's not them. I can tell that what they just put in front of me is manufactured. It has not, their fingerprints are really not on it other than something that looks like them. And at some point, we start to get desensitized to the real personality of who that person is. You don't want to do that to your personality. You want your personality to be as authentic and incredible as it can possibly be, because when they see you online, when they see this content that you're creating, when you show up in real life, in real person standing in front of them, those pictures better match. Because if you've got two different pictures going on, that is confusing for people. It doesn't feel right. And all of a sudden they go, something feels icky. I don't know what it is, but I'm out. And I think this is where we could potentially be walking into some really weird situations in our business if we don't get control of that, because we've all felt it when you're working with somebody, you're like, something doesn't feel right. And I can have a personal relationship with you, Matt. We did this actually a while back. Have a personal relationship with you. I know you. I know all how you act, how you show up, all your nuances. And then you made it was actually done through our recordings thing here, Riverside, this like Muppet version of us.
Yeah.
And even though it was super, cartoonish, it was like literally like looking at the Muppets. I literally walked away from it going, that was creepy. Like, that's not the image that I want to have of us. Like, that's not good, because again, it created this false image that it's hard to go, does that match with the personality? Is it cool? Is it unique? Yes. Does it match with the personalities? This is where we got to be careful.
Yeah, and this is kind of like I'd say all content creation, exploration, and reciting of things. So I'll relate this to scripts. You can tell when somebody makes a call and they're reading a script. They're trying to do a sales script and convert somebody. We see it a lot when people are starting out with, forcibly asking for referrals, right? It just feels awkward. You're like, what is going on here? Not to say that can't be fine-tuned and developed into something that is more polished, because it can. And that's where I see like AI now. It's like a script that you've never used that you're just going to go and just run on somebody brand new, versus taking the time to really understand it. And this is where you look at some of the custom GPTs that we have built over the past year, particularly the stuff that you've done, Garrett, with our core values and mission statement stuff. Like, those things have a lot built into the prompts, the system prompt, the master prompt, to make those things work better and be more engaging. Because I think what's happening is a lot of people are going into a chat GPT asking a very simple question with very little context, and they're getting an autocomplete answer, and they're like, sounds good, let's deploy it. And that's the same thing as taking a cold script without verifying the source and just saying, hey, next question, and just reading it without even like listening to what the person just said. And it reminds me of when I was living in Jersey City, and I got a cold call from a real estate agent, and the person was asking if I was the owner and if I was looking to sell, and I was renting at the time. And I was like, well, but I'm a real estate agent. And he goes, great. Do you know anybody else in your building who would be thinking of selling? And I was like, that's a weird follow-up question after you tell, like, if I did know, would I tell you that? Right. And like, maybe he's gotten better over the years of practicing that, but that's what AI feels like when you can tell it's not the person. It just feels like they're moving on to the next question of a script.
Script should have said, if answers, I'm a real estate agent, skip next question, move on to.
Just hang up.
About the wrong person on the phone.
Move to next phone call.
You go back to the GPTs that we're creating and we're putting all together inside of our world, and you're saying that about the work that goes into making sure those are correct. And it's funny, like somebody said to me the other day, they said you should create one for collecting testimonials. We're working on it. I've been working on it. And it's amazing when AI hears testimonial, like that word, and it runs with it. You can gather information from somebody and then it goes, all right, I'm going to turn this into the best testimonial ever. And the problem is you can't use it because it's not the client's words. It sounds like an amazing testimonial. Like it builds out an incredible testimonial, but it's also not the situation that really happened. So the client didn't say it. It's not the situation that really happened. And so now we have crap. We have nothing to work with here. And so I've gone round and round.
This is a good point. I just want to hit on that for a second. And this is everything that is coming out of a lot of AI things that are tricking people into thinking it's real. These embellishments. I mean, we see it with social media posts, some of these images where they're not fully fake, but they're not fully real, which changes it, which is going to break down the trust structure between the two parties. So apologies, go on.
Well, no. And so I think like when I look at like the fine tuning of it and trying to make it work, I know that there's a lot of people I want to take what we have created and put it in their hands and be like, this will do testimonials for you. It will gather them. It will help you, analyze them. But at the same point, if it's not ready to go, and this is the trick that a lot of people, I think, the trap a lot of people fall into with AI, is it's not ready to go. And they just go, look what it did for me. Isn't this cool? What it does, like out of this thing that we've built, it's really cool, the testimonial thing. Like it makes me go like, wow, like that's really neat. But it's not ready to have it go live to the public. And I think a lot of our emails, a lot of the posts, a lot of the quick entries, they're not ready to go live. And I've seen this with people going like, oh my gosh, look, it will do my staging for me. It'll make the room have all the right. I'm like, yeah, and it added in a wolf range. Like, I hate to say it, like if that house doesn't have a wolf range, you might be buying a wolf range. Like these are the things you got to be so careful about it. I've watched it move walls. I've watched it move windows. I've watched it move all kinds of crap in rooms. And it's like, there were never cabinets there. Like, why did you put cabinets there? But it interprets whatever's given to it. It does its best. And Matt, as you said many times, and I think it's a really great thing for people to understand, is that it will always find an answer. It's never going to come back and go, I can't do that, or I don't know. It will always do whatever it can to be like, here, like, how's this? And if you're not careful and you run with it, it can be very, very, very confusing. And that, I love AI. Again, I can't say how much I enjoy it, how much I love it, how much I use it every single day. But when you're putting stuff out that's forward facing, that represents your personality, your business, what you stand for, this is where I scratch my head sometimes going, whoa, pump the brakes on that one for a second.
Yeah. And there is I think when you're creating, you have to think about, what am I creating? Am I doing something for entertainment? Because I think there's a lot of fun stuff with AI too, right? Just like, hey, let's generate these fun videos and share these things. And there's a lot of that. But if you're then creating to kind of have fun, but also recraft a picture of reality, a couple of things that I think people need to think about. One, what is the true reputation that you have that you want to make sure is displayed and shared, and is it true and real? And then the second is like, what are you going to do with it? What is it? What is the purpose of this? And how does it help serve? And the third thing is your own time. I had this conversation with someone the other day. He's like, oh, I found this great tool. Like, it's going to help do these lifestyle images and everything. I'm like, great. What are we going to use that for? And like, well, for like social media posts and stuff, and like kind of so they can see my face and have the words over them, which, okay, cool. Like, I can get behind that. And I was like, but at the same time, it's like, how much time are we spending trying to recraft those images when you can spend one day with a photographer and just have real images? You know, yes, it's more work to get prepared and get ready, probably costs more to have that, but you can spend a day or 2 days getting all the lifestyle images that you want for, you know, the caption with the overlays of text and stuff for social media, or we can spend the time on AI. Now, AI is going to get way better. Like, it's accelerating at a rate in terms of that type of creation that is unreal with these upgrades of Sora and VO from Google. Like, the videos that I'm seeing, I'm just like, whoa. Like that looks pretty darn real, right? Which is great. However, again, comes back to what are we really trying to propose, and how long does it take you to perfect the prompting of that versus just doing a real photo? Real is always going to get better engagement, in my opinion, no matter what.
So total side note here. I'm sitting here thinking about like these kind of AI generated images, content, whatever it might be. So I have a car that I race. We've talked about it before. It is the funniest thing in the world. Nobody should ever race a Honda CRV, but we do. And so our Honda, when this about 6 months ago or so, I threw it into AI and I just said, hey, I have a 2001 Honda CRV. And this is our livery. This is the idea that we've kind of run with, and the joke. It's kind of a joke theme. And I said, I want you to design a 2001 Honda CRV on the racetrack at racing, and give me this whole look of what this car is. And I got into a role. I was doing all my friends' cars. Like I would just like dropping cars into like here's what your car would look like as a race car. And we were having tons of fun, joking around, sending them back and forth. When it did the Honda, it created a car that made me go, whoa, like that's what that could look like. How cool is that? Like the way the layout was, the graphics on it, it had this huge wing on the back of it. And every bit of me was like, I never thought about putting a wing on the back of it. Like, how cool is that? Like I got so excited about it. And then I took that image and I sent it out to all the guys and I said, guys, look, like this is the car. Like this is what we could do. Now, if I posted that online and said, this is my race car, or this is like, that would be where it gets strange. This is where it's like, it's very cool. It's been done up. This is what I could do with my race car, whatever. The right thing, and what I'm doing with it, I feel like is the right thing, is I now have an image of what I'm going to turn that car into. I've used it as creative juice to be able to then go, I'm actually going to do that. There's a big old wing on that car now. Like I went and online ordered that wing at the biggest, most ridiculous wing you can get for a Honda CRV and put it on and made that part of it right. And now I'm sitting here going, okay, before we race next time, do I want to repaint it? And I have an idea and a vision. I used AI to help me get creative with what I'm going to go create and put out to the public. And I think you need to look at this with AI in your business is that, yes, Matt, you can have it do all the videos for you and create all that. And look at this, it was all done. Or you can have it give you some scripts. You can have it give you some ideas, different directions. What if you did this? What if you went down this route? And then you take that and yes, get dressed up, have a photographer come in, use your darn phone and set it up and have a conversation because your personality is going to come through that. I could take that photo and give it to a professional body shop and be like, hey, can you make my car look like this? And they'll do it for me. They'll make it all happen. But there's something way cooler when you do it yourself. There's something way cooler when you can sit down and go like, not only was it, I came up with this idea, but with the help of some tools and people, it's how a lot of great ideas come up with. We have great conversations, but then I created it myself. And that's where the great stories come out of. That's where the great authenticity comes out of. That's where it becomes really unique to you. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see with the industry as we move forward, is not handing over the reins completely and be like, here, just do it for me. I want to see people go, this is allowing me to have a different side of my creativity come out. But at the end of the day, it is my product that I'm putting on the table, not a fabricated product, because that's where, again, you're going to lose trust.
Yeah. Well, and I think this highlights, when you get into this content creation side, that the intent and the purpose all aligns with what does it visually look like as well, right? Because some of the videos that we're seeing look real, but like clearly are done in this exaggerating way, like seeing Billie Jean, hugging a lion and having a serious conversation with you. Like, I know that's fake. And it's funny, and it actually serves the purpose of what he's trying to do with his marketing. The cartoonish characters that people create of themselves through AI, like all of that stuff, I think is actually pretty neat. And if you use it in the right way, even the image of your car, if it's shared in the right context, then it can make sense depending on what the purpose is that you're trying to do. It's when people start to get into like, hey, I'm going to... And I've seen it on these YouTube videos, which I've actually watched, consumed, and have learned from, these people making educational talking head videos, just kind of like this right here, but it's all generated by AI, and you can kind of tell. At the same time, the information is good. I enjoy it. I think it would perform better if that person just got in front of the camera and did the content, because we're now already overloaded with the amount of content. There's AI tools. I shouldn't say AI is creating these things, because everything done by AI is prompted by a human. These AI tools are creating more videos than human edited videos out there in the content universe out there. And there was already 10 years ago more content being generated than we could actually consume based on the time available, which is why everybody watches things at 2x speed. So that said, if the content is already overly saturated, why don't we then just focus on making the good quality content? I think you're going to see a better return on it. I think you can use AI tools to help you create great content for sure. But if you're just going to let the AI tools do the content creation for you with simple prompts and then just kind of like let it go, I think you're going to miss out on an opportunity to, create better impact.
So a couple things here, Matt. One, going back to what you said about having your arm around the lion and having a conversation with the lion. There are certain things you cannot create in real time, in real life. It's just not going to happen. So there are certain places that you can use it as slapstick or as something that's just outside the box. It's just like, let's have some fun with this. Obviously, AI. There's the right places to use that. And this is where it's getting using it as a tool. Going back to the cars for a second, if I was to walk around a car show, I love going to car shows. I love talking to the car owners, and there's different car owners that you will meet as you go through an event like that. There are some people that you'll walk up to and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, tell me about your car. And they'll be like, I've had this car since I was 16 years old. These are all the things I've done to it. These are all the things I've tweaked on it. I did it all in my garage. This is how I literally just had a conversation with a guy about how he created the rose-colored gold that he had the wheels dipped into so that he could have them look that way. And I'm just like, whoa. And he's like, I did it all in my garage. Super high respect for this gentleman. I sat there and talked to him, came back to his car later in the day. We talked more about his car. I can go to another person, and there's two other sides to this. Either they bought somebody else's dream, so they found somebody else's car that somebody else built, and they're like, I now own it. And it's like, great, tell me all about it. And they're like, well, I bought it back here and it's just my dream car. My grandfather had one like this, so I always wanted to have one. There's a different soul attached to that car as attached to the other one. And then there's the third person, which, yeah, you're sitting in front of a $500,000 restored, beautiful car, and you go, tell me about it. And they're like, I sent it to this shop and they're the ones who created it. And isn't it amazing? There's different levels of what you're going to get. And I think when you talk about respect that people earn in your business, you will earn more respect doing a lot of the difficult work yourself rather than handing it all over. There's always the right time to hand stuff over. But when you're self-built and you had your hands in all of it and you saw it all the way up, it's just way more impressive. People respond to it better. They resonate with it better. They're going to want to hear your story more than the company you inherited from your grandfather. Well, I mean, there's history in that, but maybe the company you bought from a friend who maybe that was his dream, and you're like, oh, it still makes money. Like, I'm going to run this thing and get this thing going. There's just more respect when you had your dream and your vision in it up front and you created it yourself. And that's what we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose that side of it. It will always be respected, and it will make your business way more valuable, way more, the solid foundation you're going to build for it if you do it that way is going to be, I don't have the right word for it right now. Again, it's just one of those things. Be careful giving up too much of the creativity because you're going to lose your pulse of what you're creating.
Well, I think with that, I think there's layers and there are other elements to bring into it as well, right? And I think when it comes to creating content in the real estate space, everyone's trying to like one up each other. Who's got the next viral thing? And that's where I think we're abdicating a lot of things versus using our own creativity and using the tools to support it. And even like looking at the car thing is like all those layers, like there's going to be a bigger soul and a story into the build of a car if the person's building it themselves versus if they bought it. At the same time, the conversation would be is like, yeah, I bought this car, is built here because, and then your story begins there. Your story isn't the building of the car, it's the experience with the car. And same thing with businesses is I think some people are trying to use AI to recraft what their story is instead of actually just truly leaning into what their true story is.
That's
you
a
don't
good
have
point.
to have to be the creative content creator. We're seeing this just on the content creation side. You should do this content. You must do this content. You got to be this way. You got to be that way. And the answer is no, you don't have to do that. The answer is you must be who you are because that is the unique thing. You mentioned fingerprint before, Garrett. What makes you you is what you do, it's you. And so choose what you do to amplify who you are and the story and the connection that you want to make. And it's going to be done in different ways for different people. Use all the tools, use all the things out there to help you amplify your message and share your value for sure. Just be careful of, are you creating an artificial version of yourself? And I don't mean like the cartoon image because that can be kind of neat. I mean what that is saying. If what that artificial creation is saying is true to you, fantastic. If it's what it's saying is not true to you, going back to where we started with, hey, I'm just going to copy paste this thing and send it out. That's where we need to express some caution.
Well, and again, I go back to the best ways that I have seen it in real estate as of right now, when it comes down to systems behind the scenes that are creating a more efficient platform. You can get more stuff done. You can create so much information so quickly that if you just take a little bit of time, by the way, it might have taken you 2 days to create all the information, and then we won't take 20 minutes to look at it and make sure that it resonates with us. Before then, we would have never created to begin with. So we just go like, oh my gosh, look at it all. And we run with it. And it's like, all I'm saying is what it's creating for you in such a short amount of time with so much great information, just take a little bit of extra time and say, okay, now I need to put my own touch on it. I need to put my fingerprints on this thing, make sure that it truly represents me, my business, my image, my personality. And yeah, if you use it in that way, it's masterful. It's amazing. It's these shortcuts that we look at where we jump that gun. We don't take that little bit of time with it. And I mean, think about it, Matt. It's really amazing. There's stuff that I've had put together that I'm like, that would have taken me all day to gather that much information, gather all those different articles from all these different areas and all this stuff. For me not to take 20 minutes from something that would have taken me all day just to go, let me read through it all and let me make sure it's all accurate. Like, that's on me. Like, shame on me for rushing that. And again, it's happening a lot out here. Anybody who's listening to this, just pump the brakes on some of that stuff. Just take a look at it a little bit deeper because I'm watching stuff shared all the time out here that's like, that's not real. That's not real. But it's funny. Even in the social media, the news area right now, people are grabbing stuff, making AI stuff, putting it out there, and people are like, did you see this? I'm like, okay, you also need to pump the brakes and think about this for a second. Like, is that really what's happening? Like, is that really the truth? Do a little bit more research.
Yeah, the rage bait that is out there on social media that is fake and everything is just, you hit on something. I don't know exactly how you said it, but I just want to re-amplify it. It's the result that we're looking for. And this is the question I would ask when you're using AI. Is like, if I paid a professional to do this with me as well, would I feel as good about putting it out as what I'm doing with this free or low cost tool? Because it is truly about what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to put out there. The methods don't matter as much as the impact and the result that we're looking to put out there. And so when people, and I also want to highlight this, when people say, oh, your business needs to be run by AI and all this stuff, this is software, this is structure. You're the one architecting the system here. And so when you look at that, the question is like, would I have paid somebody a ton of money to do this as well? And if the answer is yes, then great. The result's probably going to be awesome. If you're like, no, I wouldn't have paid any money to have this done, then why are you putting it out there, right? Because if you don't really feel that type of impact with it, then maybe we should spend the extra 20 minutes to make it the way that we would really want it, as if we were working with somebody to.
So when you said hiring a professional, Matt, so we just hired a professional. He was amazing. His name is not coming to my mind right now because I'm in the moment here, but the gentleman that we hired to do our photography when
Jonathan.
we were in.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have this amazing photographer. He shows up. He's got his cameras all set up. He's got mics on us. We have an incredible session. So we got to teach and we got to do a live podcast in front of people. You'll be hearing that. It probably is already out by now. The interesting thing about it is that I could easily go on AI right now, upload my photo and say, hey, can you create an image of me teaching in front of the room? Because I want to use it as marketing for myself to help people understand that I teach and I speak and I will come to your office. I want to create this image so people understand what I could be maybe. All it took was a little extra time of hiring a photographer and being there. And by the way, those pictures have so much soul, so much energy behind them. They're real time. When we were sharing them back and forth, it brought back all sorts of incredible energy for me of like, oh man, that was such a great day. And Matt holding his cup of coffee just right. And I'm like, there's a big coffee stain right underneath that shirt. Like, I know it because he spilled his coffee on himself right before the photo shoot and right before, sorry, Matt, for calling you out, but
I did. It was
But
great.
it was one of those, like, there's so much soul and energy behind it. And yes, could we have spent $0 had AI create the two of us standing in front of a room and speaking and putting an image out there that people would have been like, oh yeah, with a little piece of it of them going, is that AI? Like, is that real? Where I know for a fact, every picture that we have shared and what we've put out around that event, it brings back all this emotion. We got Dennis Tuttle coming out and going like, oh, it's so great having you guys there because he was there for that moment, which emphasizes that time and that energy even more. It's all lost with AI. If we would have done that in an AI picture that we put out going, we were in Dallas and we got to speak and we had a fake picture put up, it would have been fake for Dennis. It would have been fake for his entire crew. They would have looked at them and been like, that's not how it went. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Good job, guys. And it just loses its soul.
I think that highlights, like, are you running an entertainment business? Because we're like, well, but like humans have created, fake versions of things forever. What are the movies? What are TV shows? Yes, absolutely. But are you an entertainer or are you an educator? Are you an advisor, right? If you want to be known as somebody who speaks on stages, then working up to it versus pretending it exists. Like, this goes to the fake it till you make it. And I don't want to like elongate this podcast longer than it has to be, but we've done an episode on fake it till you make it, which I don't like that phrase because it implies that you're pretending to be somebody who you're not or who you don't intend to be, when you can just be the things. You can still be something you're not yet because it starts right here in your mind. You don't have to craft it on the outside. You actually have to craft it on the inside. And what I'm seeing with a lot of people who are leaning into AI at that content creator level is they're creating the outside version of themselves and it doesn't align with who they are inside. If the two pictures match, great, awesome, go for it. You don't have to fake it until you make it. You just have to do the work. And that doesn't mean you have to put in the time either. This isn't a time. Okay, I'm gonna stop before I like blow myself up here. But
both Matt,
it made me think of that, Garrett.
Both you and I, though, are speaking from experience also of stuff that we have put out that's been generated. And the stuff that we've put out that's been real, in that we've actually had the real experience and we've been able to share it. And I will tell you, the real stuff feels so much better.
It does.
And if you can create the real stuff, the energy is going to be transferred differently to all your people, all the people that know you. they will feel the difference of the energy come through when it's real. The other stuff is just content. And you just need to understand that it's content going out. And if you're not careful, it actually can cause damage if you're not really paying attention. And that's probably my biggest word of advice. And we can probably wrap this one up. But yeah.
Well,
we love
I'll
AI.
say this too. I just want to add this one other thing as well, is that don't use this as an excuse not to try things either, because we're going to continue to try things. And I know that I probably will put certain things out there that won't land properly. And the reason why we're doing this is because we've done that.
We've done it.
This is our experience, and it's going to happen again. So don't be afraid to try things. Just now that we've had this conversation, bring more into it. And particularly when you're using AI, just get more detailed with your inputs to really understand what you're trying to create through that conversation with AI, so that the outputs start to look a lot better, which will save you time on the back end fine-tuning things. So we'll just add that little extra thing there.
See, so we're not going to wrap this up here because I'm going to add one more piece because it's relevant. But when we talk about like the real versus, maybe AI created, I was just thinking back to my friend Lee Eckroth. When he did all of his marketing one year, did all of his photos, and he basically right when the trees were changing in Corvallis, Oregon, he hired a helicopter. And the helicopter went up and shot aerial photos all over downtown, over the campus, over the river, all this stuff. And he turned that into all of his marketing. And I look at nowadays and say, okay, could I upload a whole bunch of videos or pictures into AI and say, hey, this is the town of Corvallis. Can you change it so that it's autumn and all the trees are changing and make all, and it could do it. And you got a picture, then you could share and go, look how cool it is. I've captured Corvallis in the fall. And there's something different of when somebody goes, that's an incredible picture. And you go, oh yeah, I was able to generate that on AI, compared to, oh yeah, I actually hired a helicopter and we flew over town and we captured it on the perfect day with the perfect weather. And it was amazing. And there's just so much more grounded energy in that makes it so much more real, makes Lee more authentic to his passion and love for what he does and what he's building. And he's willing to give the time, he's willing to spend the money, he's willing to put it all out there. That was huge. I remember when he did it, and every time a postcard would show up, a handwritten note would show up, a water bottle would show up with that photo on it, I always went back to, it had to have been a cool day flying around in a helicopter taking photos. Like, what an opportunity.
So I think here's the question to ask when you're doing content. Does it pass the rented Lamborghini test? Okay. So there is renting a Lamborghini to get your picture in front of it, like with your arms crossed and the doors open and being like, I've made it, even though it's a rented car, versus taking a picture of a Lamborghini and being like, hey, this is a cool car, I'm inspired by it. And so when you're creating AI content, are you really just renting a Lamborghini and taking a picture in front of it and trying to pass it off as your own? Or are you creating something that is authentically you? If it's the latter, fantastic. If it feels like you're renting a Lamborghini, maybe make some tweaks to what's going on there.
Right on that. Does it pass the rented Lamborghini test? Is perfect. All right. Well, to all of you tuned in today, thank you so much. Matt, I think this was your topic. You threw this one on. I appreciate it. This was great because I think it's something that needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed because it can get out of hand really quick. If you want to learn more about what we got going on, come check us out at lifeat10tenths.com. If you want to learn more about our business planning, you can go to 10tenths.co. You can check out, there's a banner at the top. Click on it. It'll take you right to the business planning. We're going to probably leave that up through February, I believe, January, February. We'll see what that looks like as we kind of continue through here. But we encourage all of you. It is an incredible business planning series that we've put together. We've been doing this for a long time. We know what works. We know what drives people. And again, we'd love to have you join us with that. And if there's anything else we can do for you as we continue to move forward, come check us out on YouTube, subscribe, like any of the videos on there. That helps us out tremendously. And we look forward to seeing you either in our community or in and about at an event or anything like that in the future. So thank you so much, everybody. Matt, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Take care, everybody.